Hi, my name's Tim Miller and I'm from Certif-ID. I'm a co-founder of Certif-ID. Certif-ID is a dedicated skills community, and we're working very hard with industry and with education to lift standards and transparency across the educational landscape. Our focus is to build a platform that integrates the demands of education and understands and builds on the demands of industry. Today, in India especially, India is driving to be the skills capital of the world. In order for that to happen, there needs to be a number of things that take place. There needs to be much more transparency in the educational landscape to enable recruiters around the world to make informed decisions about who they recruit. With Certif-ID, we work very closely with industry to understand and outline these demands. What are the competencies that industry require, and how do we then bring them to education and support the educational landscape to lift standards across the board? We have a number of experts within Certif-ID that support educational institutes to lift standards, and we work with a number of partners like TÜV Rheinland, for example, to support educational institutions to get listed on our Certif-ID platform. When an educational institute gets listed on our platform, they are able to have a visibility on a global marketplace for jobs and get a recognition and a transparency of the quality that they bring to the educational landscape. These educational institutions are then able to issue digital credentials on blockchain, which enables a student to have a digital record that makes it very easy for recruiters to make informed and very fast decisions about the type of people or the people they want to recruit into their business. We have a number of examples. I just came out from a discussion now about the area of nursing, for example. I'm based in Cologne, and in Germany there's a huge demand for nurses in the German market. One of the challenges is that there's no harmonization of standards within the nursing industry. And in order to support that, we're working very closely to enable institutions in India, for example, to lift their standards of nursing qualifications and meet the requirements of the German market. In order for a nurse to get a visa to work in Germany, they have to complete a number of different criteria. They have to have a language qualification, and we've built partners within the Certif-ID platform to support our students to enable them to get language qualifications, and they have to have a recognition of their qualification. Generally what happens today is that qualification from India, for example, does not quite meet the expectations of the German market, which means there has to be another level of learning, another course, another additional add-on to enable a student to actually meet those qualifications. Our goal and what we are doing in Certif-ID is to lift those standards, to understand or to help educational institutions understand what these requirements are, and then enable them to provide training that ensures that a student who finishes from their course automatically has the right qualifications to support them in their quest to work in an international market. With a digital qualification, a digital certificate, and a skills passport, a digital skills passport, these experts are then very much available to the international market, and it's very easy for recruiters and visa authorities likewise to make informed decisions about who they are able to bring into the market. We have a number of similar examples. I think, for example, in the automotive industry, we're also working very closely. And in the automotive industry, it's a similar problem. We're also working with a number of companies who are looking to bring skilled Indian technicians into the German market. But in order to do that, there's a lot of background work that needs to happen to align standards and to ensure that these technicians from India meet the expectations of the German market and therefore get jobs. And our job is to facilitate that process, enabling the right technical experts to align with education, lift educational standards, and then again, overarchingly bring transparency and trust to that educational framework, and therefore give much better opportunities to people to get further opportunities with jobs. I had a discussion earlier this week with an HR director from a European automotive parts manufacturer. They have big problems in finding the right people to work in their industry in Europe. And so they've opened their job search to look for candidates from India. One of the very big challenges that he faced in this example was that he sent out 3 applications or 3 job advertisements into the Indian market and got thousands of responses back. Of course, it's a very, very good opportunity and a great chance for someone to go and work in Europe. The problem for him as a recruiter was, how do you differentiate? You have very little knowledge of the education landscape in India. You don't know what is a quality institute. You don't know what the standards are. And you have a number of CVs that look quite similar. Most of the candidates have a form of MBA, and you're not quite sure how to differentiate from one candidate to the other. This was the discussion we had, and to support them, this is what CertifID aims to do. Bring that transparency into the educational landscape by differentiating from a quality perspective the competency outcomes of those educational institutes, using technology to make recruitment and background checks of documentation a smoother process, and in doing so enabling a much smoother transition into the market. This is what we're aiming to do at CertifID. Coming back to the skills question in India. So without a doubt, India is or wants to be, and in many ways is the skills capital of the world. But in order for this to stay true, and in order for this to continue to expand, the Indian market must start to address vital challenges linked to transparency, linked to trust. There are a number of challenges related to this in the Indian educational landscape that for sure must be addressed in the future. One of the main reasons that international companies worked with India in the past was for a cost benefit. It was relatively cheap or relatively beneficial to work with Indian companies and build opportunities here in India because of a cost factor. This is dramatically changing. India is not as cheap as it used to be. And with this in mind, it's even more critically important that India starts to lift its standards, starts to meet international best practice, and in many ways starts to excel. I'll give you an example for China, for example, as an example. In China, 10, 15 years ago, maybe 20 years ago, a number of manufacturing facilities or plants moved out of developed markets into China. Why? Because of an abundance of relatively inexpensive labor and an opportunity to build chances for cost benefits within the Chinese market. This is changing. You see over the last 5 years that a number of manufacturing facilities have moved out of China, moved into Southeast Asia, for example, in Vietnam, but it doesn't mean that China has dipped. What it means is that the skill sets in China have actually increased. When you look at things like Industry 4.0, for example, it's not just Germany that's in the lead, it's actually China, for example, that's taking a lead as a skills leader in new technologies. It's the same in the automotive sector. If you talk about a combustion engine, for example, it's very difficult to look beyond Germany and Japan, for example, for quality in the combustion engine market. But when you move into electric vehicles, again, as a new technology and with advances in skills, the Chinese market is also at the forefront of new technology and innovation. I think this is a very interesting example for the Indian market, and something where, again, in terms of becoming and maintaining its advantage as the skills capital of the world, it's really important that they start to address these key skills challenges, and in doing so bring that trust and transparency back to the educational landscape in India.